This is the supplemental material for section 2.2. This may show up a little bit later on when we do our percentages and decimals at the end of this chapter, but I think it's important to put it in this area. So here goes. What we're going to talk about is converting decimals, fractions to decimals, and fractions to percentages. So if we want to convert a fraction into a decimal, the way we're going to do that is we're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to convert a quarter and we're going to convert 5/6 to decimals because each of those has a different type of decimal associated with it. So our first one, we have 1, and we're dividing that by 4. And so in this, we are going to place a decimal just to the right of the whole number here, and then we're going to add as many zeros as it takes. That's always the case when you do decimals. Then we put a decimal up in the quotient, and then we go ahead and divide. 4 won't go into 1, so we'll put a 0, and then 4 will go into 10 2 times, and then we have 2 left over, and 4 will go into 20 5 times. If you don't remember that, that is short division, so it's just a shortened version of all the subtractions down here. Our next problem, 5 divided by 6, this is going to give us an interesting type of decimal answer. So we have our 5, and we're dividing that by a 6. We'll put in our decimal here, and then we'll add the zeros over here, just like this. And now we have 6 will go into 5 0 times, the decimal coming up, and then 6 will go into 50 8 times, and there are 2 left over. 6 goes into 20 3 times with 2 left over, and 6 will go into 20 3 times with 2 left over, and there's another 0 we add. 6 will go into 20 3 times, and we begin to feel like a broken record. So these 3's are what we call a repeating non-terminating pattern, and to show that, we can show a bar over one single number that repeats or a pattern of numbers that repeats. Now I like to be a little bit more thorough than just a bar over one of the numbers, so I'll make mine go over all of the 3's, showing that the 3's repeat, just so it doesn't get lost. Alright, now that we have seen the two types of decimals that we'll see come out of fractions, the next thing that we want to do is we want to talk just a little bit about a percent. First of all, a percent is a part of 100. That is actually the definition. You see that right in here. And so we can make any fraction into a percent by first converting it to a decimal and then moving the decimal place 2 places to the right, essentially taking the part of 100 out of it, which is what we do when we want to say the percent sign. So if we want to convert 2/3 into a percentage, I'm going to first of all start by converting 2/3 into a decimal. So we have the 2, and we're dividing that by a 3. Put in the decimal, add the zeros over here to do the division. Excuse me. And 3 will go into 2 0 times, a decimal. 3 will go into 20 6 times, and 2 left over. 3 will go into 20 6 times with a 2 left over. We bring down an extra 0. 3 will go into 20 6 times, and again we feel like that broken record, so we'll put the bar over the 6 to show that that's repeating. So now once we have this 0.6666666, so on and so forth, we don't want to round that because then it's no longer accurate, so don't round, just put the bar over it. Then to make it into a percentage, we move the decimal 2 places to the right. 2 places to the right takes that parts of 100 out of it, and now it allows us to read it as a percent. So now we can say it's 66.66666, so on and so forth, percent. So I'll put that bar over the top, and there we have percent. So moving this decimal now reads as this percentage sign. Now there's another way that we can do this. We already know that 0.6666, so on and so forth, is 2/3. So we could also write this as 66 and 2/3%, which brings up the fact that it's really nice to have some conversions automatically memorized, because then we can